जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरदारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरदारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री His Divine Grace भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Kamarada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीर्उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 4, entitled Hiranyakashipu Terrorizes the Universe, text number 37. न्यस्तक्रीडनको बालो जडवत्तन्मनस्तया कृष्णग्रहगृहीतात्मा न वेद जगदीदृशम् 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 न्यस्तक्रीडनको बालो जडवत्तन्मनस्तया कृष्णग्रहगृहीतात्मा वेद जगदीदृशम् माताजी न्यस्तक्रीडनको बालो जडवत्तन्मनस्तया कृष्णग्रहगृहीतात्मा न वेद जगदीदृशम् न्यस्तक्रीडनको बालो जडवत्तन्मनस्तया कृष्णग्रहगृहीतात्मा न वेद जगदीदृशम् Word to word translation. Nyasta, having given up, Kridanakaha, all sportive activities or tendencies for childhood play. Balaha, a boy. Jadavat, as if dull, without activities. Tat manastaya, by being fully absorbed in Krishna. Krishna graha, by Krishna, who is like a strong influence, like a graha or planetary influence. Grihitatma, whose mind was fully attracted. Na, not. Veda, understood. Jagat, the entire material world. Idrisham, like this. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. From the very beginning of his childhood, Prahlad Maharaj was uninterested in childish playthings. Indeed, he gave them up altogether and remained silent and dull, being fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Since his mind was always affected by Krishna consciousness, he could not understand how the world goes on being fully absorbed in the activities of sense gratification. Purport: Prahlad Maharaj is the vivid example of a great person fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, स्थावर जंगम देके नादेके तारमूर्ति सर्वत्र होय निज इष्ट देव स्फूर्ति. A fully Krishna conscious person, although situated in this material world, does not see anything but Krishna, anywhere and everywhere. This is the sign of a Mahabhagavata. The Mahabhagavata sees Krishna everywhere because of his attitude of pure love for Krishna. As confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santas Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shyama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govinda Madipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is always seen by the devotee, whose eyes are anointed with the pulp of love. He is seen in his eternal form of Shyam Sundar, situated within the heart of the devotee. An exalted devotee or Mahatma, who is rarely to be seen, remains fully conscious of Krishna and constantly sees the Lord within the core of his heart. It is sometimes said that when one is influenced by the evil stars like Saturn, Rahu, or Ketu, he cannot make advancement in any prospective activity. In just the opposite way, Prahlad Maharaj was influenced by Krishna, the supreme planet, and thus he could not think of the material world and live without Krishna consciousness. That is a sign of a Mahabhagavata. Even if one is an enemy of Krishna, a Mahabhagavata sees him to be also engaged in Krishna's service. Another crude example is that everything appears yellow to the jaundiced eye. Similarly, to a Mahabhagavata, everyone but himself appears to be engaged in Krishna's service. Prahlad Maharaj is the approved Mahabhagavata, the supreme devotee. In the previous verse, it was stated that he had natural attachment, Naisargiki Ratihi. The symptoms of such natural attachment for Krishna are described in this verse. Although Prahlad Maharaj was only a boy, he had no interest in playing. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Viraktir Anyatracha, the symptom of perfect Krishna consciousness is that one loses interest in all material activities. For a small boy to give up playing is impossible. But Prahlad Maharaj, being situated in first class devotional service, was always absorbed in a trance of Krishna consciousness. Just as a materialistic person is always absorbed in thoughts of material gain, a Mahabhagavata like Prahlad Maharaj is always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हरे कृष्ण So we are reading from the 7th canto, very beautiful section from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Narada Muni is narrating Prahlad Maharaj's qualities. In the previous verse, Narada Muni had mentioned Gunairalam asankyeyair mahatmyam tasya suchyate Vasudeve Bhagavati yasya naisargiki ratihi. He said that who could count the innumerable qualities of Prahlad Maharaj? If you have to tell all the qualities in summary way, the quality of Prahlad Maharaj is that he had a natural devotion to Krishna. Vasudeve Bhagavati Yatra Naisargiki Ratihi. He had a natural attachment to Krishna. He had unflinching faith in Vasudeva. And what is the nature of that Naisargiki Rati? Or his unflinching attachment? That is described in the 6th shloka starting from the present shloka. Nyasta Kridanako Balo. So although Prahlad was a small child, he had no interest in childish sportive activities. Jadavat, he behaved like a dull person. Jadavat tan manastaya, Krishna graha grihitatma. And he was completely captivated by the thoughts of Krishna. He was completely affected by the Krishna graha. His mind was fully attracted to Krishna. Naveda jagad idrisham. He didn't know how this world is going on. Very profound shloka. It talks about the Mahabhagavata nature of a Prahlad Maharaj. That is why Srila Prabhupada is writing in the purport. A Mahabhagavata devotee sees Krishna in every situation. Sarvabhuteshu yaha pashyet bhagavad bhavam atmana. Bhutani bhagavat yatman. So the Mahabhagavata sees Krishna in every living entity and he sees every living entity being situated in Krishna. स्थावर जंगम देकी नादेकी तारमूर्ति सर्वत्र होय निज इष्टदेव स्फूर्ति. In moving and non-moving living entities, in everywhere, a Mahabhagavata devotee sees Krishna. A Mahabhagavata devotee can think that everything can be engaged in the service of Krishna. Prabhupada says in teachings of Lord Chaitanya that even missiles can be utilized in Krishna's service. In one lecture in first canto, first chapter Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada says that Krishna is all pervading. So the Krishna consciousness movement should be all pervading. So Krishna consciousness movement should enter every field, including politics, technology, science. So a Mahabhagavata devotee, he thinks that everything can be engaged in the service of Krishna because he sees nothing disconnected from Krishna. Because he is anointed with the love for Krishna, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti, he sees his Ishtadeva, presence of Ishtadeva everywhere. And a Mahabhagavata devotee feels that he is the only non-devotee and everybody is engaged in the service of Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj is a classic example of a Mahabhagavata devotee. Just like a person who is wearing a red colored glasses, everything red. Prahlad Maharaj was seeing everyone engaged in the service of Krishna. So in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita also, Rupa Goswami discusses about the position of Prahlad Maharaj. He says, Yetesham api sarvesham Prahlada pravaro matah sarveshu haribhakteshu Prahladohi mahattamah. Among all the devotees, Prahlad Maharaj is considered the leader. Among all the devotees of the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj is the greatest. And he quotes the Skanda Purana Vakya, spoken by Lord Shiva. Bhakta eva hi tattvena Krishnam janati natvaham. Only a devotee can know the tattva about Krishna. I do not know the tattva about Krishna. Sarveshu haribhakteshu praladoti mahattamaha. Among all the haribhaktas, Prahlad Maharaj is the greatest. The statement of Lord Shiva. And Prahlad Maharaj himself says in his prayer, Kwaham raja prabhava isha tamodikesmin jata suretara kule kvatavanu kampa na brahmano na tu bhavasya na vairamaya yanmer pita shirasi padmakara prasadaha. So Prahlad Maharaj says that, see, I was born in a family of asuras, deeply immersed in Rajoguna and Tamoguna. That is my position. But what is your causeless mercy? You offered such causeless mercy which was never offered even to Brahma, Shiva, or even to goddess of fortune. You placed your lotus hands upon my head. Such causeless mercy you did not award even to Brahma, Shiva, and Lakshmi Devi. So that shows the exalted position of Prahlad Maharaj above Brahma, Shiva, and Lakshmi Devi. And Narsimhadev himself says to Prahlad Maharaj, Bhavanti Purusha Loke Madbhaktas Tvam Anuvrataha Bhavan Me Khalu Bhaktanam Sarvesham Pratirupa Dhrik. He says that those who follow your example will naturally become my pure devotee. And you are the best example of my devotee, and others should follow in your footsteps. So that is how the Prahlad Maharaj's exalted position is described. The word Prahlada, it's a combination of upasarga, prefix, and Hlada, the root word is Hlada Dhatu. Hlada is the Dhatu, and then there is a Ghai Pratyaya. A suffix Ghai is added. So Hlada means joyful. So joyful. The word when we add the prefix pra signifies intensity or greatness. So prahlada means one who is deeply joyful or one who spreads great joy. Hmm. So the name itself, like Prahlad Maharaj, he is experiencing such deep joy in his Krishna Bhakti that even as a child, he is not interested in the sports actually. Like for many of us, even after being grown up, it becomes difficult to come out of the attachment toward the sports. There's some curiosity happening. Oh, what happens in IPL? What happens in the World Cup? Like that, still that some attachment to sports are there. But Prahlad Maharaj, even as a small child, he was not interested in the sports because he was experiencing deep joy in Krishna Bhakti. Prahlada. In Sanskrit language, lakara can also be replaced with refa. There is also a Vyakarana rule. Instead of lakara, you can replace the lakara with a refa. In some places in the Bhagavatam also instead of prahlada, prakhrada is used. So if we take prakhrada, then the dhatu is khrada. Khrada means to make sound, to shout. Hmm. Then prakhrada means what? Prakhrada means one whose voice resounds powerfully. Huh. So Prakhrad, we can see in this quality of Prahlad Maharaj exhibited in his teachings to his classmates, even in his instructions to his father. He was completely fearless, and he exhibited his deep conviction by resounding, by by in his voice, which was resounding very powerfully, and he spoke such a profound realizations as a small child, Prakhrada. So therefore, he exhibited both the qualities, Prahlada and Prakhrada. Prahlad Maharaj, for example, in his teachings, the conclusion of his teachings, what Prahlad Maharaj concludes, that is also there in the present shloka. The Prahlad Maharaj, he gives two chapters of teaching, sixth chapter and seventh chapter. The seventh chapter, last shloka, so Prahlad Maharaj says that Yetesham एतावान् एव लोकेस्मिन् पुंसः स्वार्थपरस्मृतः एकान्तभक्तिर्गोविन्दे यत् सर्वत्र तदीक्षणम्. In the material world, to render service to the lotus feet of Govinda, the cause of all causes, and to see him everywhere is the only goal of life. This much alone is the ultimate goal of life, as explained by all the revealed scriptures. To see Krishna everywhere is the only goal of life. And that is the same quality, whatever he was teaching, the same qualities he exhibited, and that is what is described in this shloka. So in this shloka, the word Krishna Graha Grihitatma, so he was completely captured by Krishna Graha, or he was deeply attracted by thoughts of Krishna, that he didn't even know how the world was functioning. So exactly opposite to that, there is another shloka in the Bhagavatam in relation to Yayati Maharaj in the ninth canto. It is described that Sotirya Kupat Sushroni Tameva Chakame Kila Tayavritam Samudvikshya Bhakvyoja Kanta Kaminihi Pivanam Smashrulam Preshtam Midvamshram Yabakovidam Sayeko Jabrishastasham Bhakvinam Rativardhanaha. The last line especially is of relevance to the current shloka. Reme Kamagraha Grasta Atmanam Navabudhyata. About Yati Maharaj, it is described that Reme Kamagraha Grasta Atmanam Navabudhyata. So opposite to Krishna Graha Grihitatma, Kama Graha Grasta. So because Ayati Maharaj was absorbed in Kama, because he was absorbed in Kama, therefore Atmanam Navabuddhyata. He was completely oblivious to self-realization. Or Kama Graha Grasta means haunted by the ghost of lust. Haunted by the ghost of lust, he naturally forgot his spiritual commitment. Atmanam Navabuddhyata. So this is a so Bhagavatam is giving another extreme. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says in one purport, Bhagavatam means the consciousness of Krishna, the consciousness of the pure devotees. That is the meaning of Bhagavatam, he says. So Bhagavatam describes the consciousness of Prahlad Maharaj, and the contrast is also provided. Reme Kamagraha Grasta Atmanam Navabuddhyata. But this is two extremes, but there are also in between consciousness. Like we are neither in the stage of Krishna Graha Grihitatma, nor in the stage of Kama Graha Grasta. Otherwise, you would not be sitting in the Bhagavatam class. But we can't say we are in Krishna Graha Grihitatma. So Bhagavatam also talks about the in-between stage also. Narada Muni tells to Yudhishthira Maharaj, Navaijano Jatu Katanchana Vrajen Mukunda Sevi Anvaya Danga Samsmritin Smaran Mukundangri Upaguhanam Punar Vihatum Icchenna Rasagraho Janaha. Vihatum Ichen na Rasagraho Janaha. Similar word, Rasagraha. So Narada Muni says that the person who serves Mukunda will never under any condition return to the material world, unlike the practitioners of other processes. So in this shloka, Narada Muni is speaking about a person who took to Krishna Bhakti, but then who has fallen from the path of Krishna Bhakti. But he says that such a person who has left the path of Krishna Bhakti, he will not fall like the practitioners of other processes of Karma Marga, Jnana Marga, Ashtanga Yoga Marga. Smaran Mukundangri Upaguhanam Punar. Remembering the embrace of Krishna's lotus feet. Smaran Mukundangri Upagunam, remembering the embrace of Krishna's lotus feet. And Vihatum Ichen na Rasagraho Janaha, eager to experience the taste of Bhakti Rasa which he experienced previously. Vihatum Ichen, he again does not desire to give up the lotus feet of Krishna. So Rasagraha means he is haunted by the taste of Bhakti Rasa which he experienced previously. And remembering the taste of Bhakti Rasa again pulls him back. And therefore, he does not want to give up he does not want to give up the lotus feet of Krishna again. So in this way, Bhagavatam describes about that in between stage also. Huh. So, so we see that fixing the mind on Krishna, that is the challenge. In fact, Rupa Goswami says that Tasmat Kenapyupayena Manakrishne Niveshayet. Somehow or other, one must fix the mind on Krishna. So that is the practical challenge which all of us face actually. About Yudhishthira Maharaj, it is explained that Sampada Kratavo Loka Mahishi Brataram Mahi Jambudvipadipathyam cha Yashoscha Tridivam Gatam Kimte Kama Surasparha Mukunda Manaso Dvija Adijagrur Mudam Ragya Kshuditasya Yathetare. Yudhishthira Maharaj had all the he had performed so many sacrifices, he had so much of wealth, he had the he had a beautiful wife, he had cooperative brothers, he was ruling the entire Jambu Dweepa. His fame was desired even by the people in the heavenly planets. But he was he was not satisfied with any of these things except service to Krishna. Shuditasya yatetare, just like a hungry person will not be satisfied anything except something which will mitigate his hunger. He will not be satisfied with somebody putting a garland or applying a chandan or a fragrance. So that is why it's explained that about Yudhishthira Maharaj, it is said that Nispriha Sarvakamebhyo Krishna Padanu Sevaya. So because he was engaged in the service of Krishna, Nispriha Sarvakamebhyo, he became freed from all other desires. A similar analogy is also given in relation to Chitraketu Maharaj. Chitraketu Maharaj tells to Angira Rishi, Lokapalair api prartyai Samrajyaishwarya sampadaha nanandayant aprajam mam shutrit kamam ivapare. Although I have such opulences which are desired even by the other Lokapalas, other Devatas, but none of these opulences satisfy me because of not having a son. Just like a hungry person will not be satisfied anything except the food. So we see duality is the nature of this world. Every person, whether the devotee or a non-devotee, rich person or a poor person, or a person in a big position or not, every person is experiencing some duality. So dealing with the duality is the challenge. That's a very beautiful shloka. Yeah, similar situation, just like a similar situation like Chitraketu Maharaj. The similar situation was in the life of King Dileepa. When King Dileepa comes to meet Vasishtha Rishi, King Dileepa explains the situation. He says that Soham Ijya Vishuddhatma Prajalopa Nimilitaha Prakashascha Aprakashascha Lokaloka Ivachalaha. He says, I am actually Soham Ijya Vishuddhatma. Ijya means sacrifices. I am purified by performing sacrifices. And the previous shlokas he described that how all my enemies are under subjugation. I have practically no enemies. So much of prosperity in the kingdom. Everyone is cooperating with me. I am purified by the sacrifices. At the same time, Prajalopa nimilitaha, because of not having a progeny, I am in darkness. Prakashascha aprakashascha. In my life, there is simultaneously light as well as darkness. So my situation is like a loka mountain. In the Bhagavatam, there is a description of a loka mountain which is at the end of the Bhumandala. Sun rays, they don't go beyond loka mountain. So that means one part of loka mountain, inside part of Bhumandala, there will be prakasha, sun rays will be there. But the other part of loka mountain, outside that, there will not be, there will be in darkness. Inside loka mountain only, all the living entities are there. Outside that, there are no living entities. So he says that my situation is like a loka mountain. So in that way, there is duality in every person's life. And yeah, we deal with the dualities in a practical whatever solution, and immediate level we adopt different solutions. But Srimad Bhagavatam is giving a consistent solution. Consistently, it is emphasizing in every episode of the Bhagavatam, the real solution to deal with the dualities is to fix the mind on Krishna. Shuddhaya Shantaya Namasva Nishtaya Manasyapartam Vilasadvayaya. When a person fixes the mind on Krishna, the dualities of the world become meaningless. So, Prahlad Maharaj is an example of a person whose mind is so immersed in Krishna that he did not even perceive how the world is going by. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we see again the two extremes of consciousness. In the Vaikuntha consciousness, it is described that Yat Sankulam Haripada Natimatra Drishtair Vaidurya Marakata Hema Mayair Vimanair Yesham Brihat Katitata Smitashobi Mukya Krishnatmanam Naraja Adadur Utsmayadyai. In the Vaikuntha planets, the men of Vaikuntha planets, they are traveling in the airplane which is made of diamonds and emeralds and lapis lazuli. And they are surrounded by such beautiful women who have all the best of the feminine bodily features. Yesham Brihat Katitata Smitashobi Mukya. And although they are surrounded by such beautiful women, Krishnatmanam na raja adadur utsmayadyai. But their minds were not stimulated by the passion. Their minds were not agitated by the passion. Because their minds were absorbed in Krishna. So the same thing is exhibited by Prahlad Maharaj here. On the other hand, in the same Srimad Bhagavatam, we see that in the third canto, 28th chapter, when Maitreya Rishi is describing the creation, from Brahma's back portion, certain demons appeared. And when Brahma gave up the twilight, the body given up by Brahma took the form of a evening twilight. That is the time when the day and night meet, which kindles passion. And the Asuras, when they saw the twilight, they imagined the twilight to be the form of a beautiful woman. And then they start describing the form of the beautiful woman. There is no women there, but they start discussing that form of that women, and then they are immersed in that. So this is the another extreme of material consciousness, where there is no women there is no object of enjoyment, but because the mind is absorbed in kama, they are deeply immersed in thinking about that, discussing about that. So, therefore, one has to come from this stage, one has to gradually try to fix one's mind on Krishna. So, Bhagavatam says elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, it is said that Namai Aveshita Diyam Kama Kamaya Kalpate Barjita Kwatita Dana Prayo Bijaya Neshate. The desire of those people who fix their minds on Krishna does not lead to material desires for sense gratification. Just like when you burn the seed in the fire and then when you plant the seed, nothing will sprout from the seed. Similarly, when the desires are focused around Krishna, centered around Krishna, then the desires will not lead to sense gratification. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So in the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter also, when Arjuna asks a question about the Sita Prajna, Sita Prajnasya Kabasha Samadhistasya Keshava, Sitadi Kim Prabhasheta Kimasita Vrajeta Kim. He asks about the symptoms of a Sita Prajna. How does he walk? How does he restrain his senses? How does he engage his senses? What are his internal and external thought process when happiness and distress come? And Krishna explains about Sita Prajna. So in four shlokas, Krishna explains in many shlokas. In the first four shlokas, Krishna describes the Sita Prajna in four levels about a Jnana Yogi. Although that's a state, he's describing about Jnana Yogi, but it can be the same theme, we can take it for the path of Bhakti also. So, Sri Ramanujacharya, in his commentary, he discusses the four shlokas as describing about the four levels. First, Krishna says that Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atman atman evatmana tushta tasya prajna pratishtita. He says Prajahati yada kaman. Prajahati means completely giving up. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. Completely giving up all the desires coming from the mind. In such a way that those desires again don't come up. Prajahati. And Atman evatmana tushta. Taking pleasure in Atma only. Here in the case of Bhakti Yoga, taking pleasure in only Krishna. Atman evatmana tushta tasya prajna pratishtita. Such a person is situated as a Siddha Prajna. So completely giving up all the desires arising from the mind except the desire to serve Krishna. And focusing all one's attention in Krishna. Atmani evatmana tushta. Such a person does not care of any worldly things. And the example for this stage is given by as Prahlad Maharaj. And the same shloka is quoted. Even Prahlad was put in the midst of the snakes. Prahlad Maharaj did not even perceive the snakes biting him. So Patanjali in his Yoga Sutra he says that Drishta Anushravika Vishaya Vitrishnasya Vasikara Samya Vairagyam. Drishta, such a person is indifferent to all the sense objects which we see in this world. And Anushravika, he is indifferent to all the sense pleasures which a person hears, which are available in the heavenly planets. So this stage is what is called as a Vashikara Sanya. Vashikara Sanya. Huh. And in this stage, a person does not even perceive what is happening in the world. Huh. Yeah, such a person does not have even perception of any material desires, material pleasure, or material pain. That is this stage, Vashikara Sanya. But then, in order to come to that stage, oh, this is a very high level. But in order to come to the stage, one has to come to the a level below that. That is called as Ekendriya Sanya. So Ramanujacharya says that Adura Viprakrishta. Adura Viprakrishta means it is not very lower than the Vashikara Sanya. It is not very lower means little bit lower than the Vashikara Sanya. That is called as Ekendriya Sanya. Slightly below this level. And that is described in the next shloka. Dukesh Anudvignamana Sukeshu Vigata Spruhaha Vitaraga Bayakroda Sitadir Munir Uchate. Dukesh Anudvignamana. When the distress is happening coming in his life, not being disturbed. Anudvignamana. Sukeshu, when the material happiness is coming in his life in the present, Sukeshu Vigata Spruha. Not having desires towards that. It's about the present distress and present happiness. And then Vita Raga Bayakroda, these three words are about the future happiness. Vita Raga, not having desire for the future sense pleasure. Vita Raga. Vita Baya, not having fear towards the future distress. So pleasure means something, getting something which we desire, and distress means and getting something which we desire and not getting something which we don't desire. That is pleasure, and distress is opposite to that. And Vita Krodha means somebody who is an obstacle to getting the pleasure, not having angry towards such a person. So this is the next level, and this level is described as the Ekendriya Sanya. So in this level, in the Vashikara Sanya, a person does not even perceive the cause of happiness and distress. But in Ekendriya Sanya, one perceives the cause of happiness and distress, but one is not affected by that. That is this level. But then, even to come to this level, this is also a very high level. But even to come to this level, first one has to come to a level below that. That is described in the next shloka. That is called as uh, that stage is called as Vyatireka Sanya. So Krishna says that Yaha Sarvatra Nishne Yaha Sarvatra Anabhisnehas Tattat Prapya Shubha Shubham Nabhinandati Nadveshti Tasya Prajna Pratishtita. Sneha means what? Desire. Abhisneha means lot of desire. Anabhisneha means one who is free from lot of desire. Yaha sarvatra anabhisneha. Yaha sarvatra anabhisneha. That means the one who is unattached to all things, and after attaining all those good or bad things, neither rejoices too much nor feels too much disappointed. Such a person's intellect is firm. So it means here, na abhinandati means he does not become greatly happy. Nandati means happy, abhinandati means greatly happy. Anabhinandati means, na abhinandati means he does not become greatly happy. That means he becomes somewhat happy when he gets sense gratification, but he does not become greatly excited. It's like IPL celebration, they become greatly happy and then there was a stampede and so many people got killed. Na abhinandati, one does not become greatly happy. Na dveshti, one does not become greatly distressed. Means he becomes somewhat distressed, but he doesn't become too much distressed. That is the stage of Vyatireka Sanya. So this is the stage where a person does introspection and is putting effort to remove the desires. And like for example, Kardama Muni, he took Devahuti to all the holiday spots in the universe. He enjoyed sense gratification, but at the same time, his mind was fixed in the higher goal. His mind was fixed in the higher goal, and therefore, at the right time, he also withdrew himself. He retired himself. And then this is a third level, and then there is a level even before that. If a person cannot come to the Vyatireka Samya, then one has to come to the level of Yatamana Sanya. Yatamana Sanya means one begins to control the mind and senses, one begins to engage the mind and senses in Krishna. That Krishna says, Yada samharate chayam kurmonganiva sarvashah indriyan indriyartebhyas tasya prajna pratishtita. So, when the Atmajnani withdraws the senses from the sense objects fully in all the aspects, just like a tortoise, such a person's intellect is firm. So, he gives the example of a tortoise. He does not withdraw all the time. Tortoise does not withdraw all the time. Sometimes he withdraws. Sometimes he does not withdraw. So, a person in Etamana Sanya, he has just begun the efforts. He takes great pleasure and happiness. He becomes affected by the distress. He becomes greatly distressed. But at least he has begun to control the senses and engage the senses in the service of Krishna. And again, at the end of the chapter, Krishna also summarizes the same stages. Again, when he describes the Vashikara Sanya, again he explains in the shloka, Yanisha Sarvabhutanam Tasyam Jagrati Samyami Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Sanisha Pashyato Muneke. This verse also he describes the same Vashikara Sanya, which he described in the Prajahati Yada Kama. And the example for both these shlokas is Prahlad Maharaj. So, Yanisha Sarvabhutanam. So, for a self-realized person, for a Mahabhagavata like Prahlad Maharaj, who is absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, what is day for him is night for a materialistic person. And what is day for a materialistic person is night for the self-realized Mahabhagavata like Prahlad Maharaj. He does not even perceive those things. And then in the next shloka, Apuryamanam Achala Pratishtam Samudramapa Pravishanti Edvat, in that Krishna describes the Ekendriya Sanya. And then in the 71st shloka, Vihaya Kaman Yakas Sarvan, Umam Charati Nishprakaha, Nishpraka Sarva Kamebhyo. In that shloka, he describes the two levels, Yatamana Sanya and um, what is that? Vashikara Sanya, Ekendriya Sanya, and Vyatireka Sanya. So, Vyatireka Sanya and Yatamana Sanya. The first two levels are described in the 71st shloka. So the point is that So the whole advancement of Krishna consciousness is we have to somehow think about how to fix the mind on Krishna. Uh, the highest level is the example of a Mahabhagavata. Highest level is to be absorbed in holy names all the time, absorbed in Srimad Bhagavatam all the time. But when we cannot do that, uh, we have to think about how we can somehow engage the different activities in the service of Krishna. If we cannot hit all the time in the bullseye, we can at least try to hit certain distance from the bullseye. Uh, at least we can aim to hit our target at least within the certain radius from the bullseye. That means how we can engage our activities in somehow in Krishna's service. And even in the Patanjali, he describes about the five stages of the mind: Kshipta, Mooda, Vikshipta, Ekagra, and Niruddha. In the Kshipta stage, a person is deeply in Tamoguna. And in Mooda stage, a person is in between Tamoguna and Rajoguna. Uh, a person is affected by Kama, Krodha, Lobha. A person is dull and lazy, sluggish. And then there is Vikshipta, is a distracted state where a person is trying to focus on Sattva Guna activities in devotional service, but his mind is going elsewhere, like a butterfly. But then higher than that is Ekagra. Ekagra, in a steady way, a person is trying to focus. Krishna says that Kachideta Shrutam Partha Tvaya Ekagrena Chetasa Kachid Ajnana Sammoham Pranashtaste Dhananjaya. Did you hear the Gita attentively with a one pointed attention? Are your doubts gone? So at least uh, we have to somehow try to come from the Vikshipta stage towards the Ekagra stage. And then at some point we can come to the stage of Niruddha, which is the stage of Samadhi, which is the stage of Prahlad Maharaj. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya. Atmanyevatmana tushtas. In such a stage, yasmin sitona dukkena gurunapi vichalyate, one is not affected even by the greatest distress, like Prahlad Maharaj, like Srivas Thakur, who was not affected even by his son dying. So, the Srimad Bhagavatam is definitely showing the extremes of consciousness, extremes of spiritual consciousness, and extremes of material consciousness. And Srimad Bhagavatam is also telling us to identify our level and how to come towards that, how to advance to the higher level. That is by the process of sadhana bhakti rendered under the guidance of a devotee. Therefore, the personified Vedas say that those people who try to control the mind without taking help of a spiritual master, such people are like a merchant who is traveling on a ship without a captain. So, therefore, we have to somehow engage the mind in Krishna's service under the guidance of the devotees. Hare Krishna. You take any questions? And 9, 10. There's one question.
Would you like to explain that Prahlad was completely focused on Krishna and he was not pursuing how the world is going on. But in the purport it was also spoken that Mahabharata sees everyone gets such. So how he was seeing that like these two statements are very different. Like, but like saying that he could not understand how the world works. And second, they say that, but he was seeing everyone is engaged in service.
Like he was engaged, he think everyone engaged in the service of Krishna. Although people may be engaged in material activities, but because of his absorption in Krishna, he is thinking instead of perceiving that how they are absorbed in material consciousness, he is seeing that they are engaged in Krishna's service.
How
Uh,
both are like in the communism that do not understand how the world works. And perfectly global thinker, Mahabharata thinker,
yeah, he's not seeing the world the way the people are engaged in material consciousness. Instead of seeing that, he is seeing from his platform of absorption in Krishna consciousness. That way, he is not actually seeing how the world is functioning. Uh, he is seeing that, like Prabhupada was taking pleasure in Charlie Chaplin movie. Uh, the other devotee thought that he was getting bewildered. He asked Prabhupada that, oh, we are not supposed to watch movies. Is it right, Prabhupada, like that? So Prabhupada was seeing from a different platform. He said, oh, Charlie Chaplin represents humor, and Krishna is the source of humor. And Prabhupada was seeing from the Krishna conscious perspective. There's instead of seeing from a material, normal, maybe movie perspective, he was seeing from how it is the humor, the source of humor, that is Krishna. From that point of view, he was perceiving. The same way, Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Okay, so we'll end here. Grantharan Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.